What's up, you guys? This is Vindictam's Cantina here, coming at you with a new video, and in today's video we are going to be discussing something that quite frankly sucks. You guys see this little title here? Yeah. I have the funniest feeling they're not lying about this, because if you scroll down this article, there is a thing about how, if you sign up you can read more of it, but basically what they're saying is that when they announced KOTOR 2 for the Switch, they announced they were going to be putting the Restore Content DLC along with it, which made everyone hype, made me hype. I pre-ordered it day one, and because of Disney, not sure who actually created the mod, they blocked the freaking release of the mod. And Aspire for a year was trying to figure stuff out, so this way they can get the mod out, and nothing happened, nothing. And what happened was, fans, a fan pretty much, oh my god, a fan sued them for false advertising, which is pretty much is, but turns out they were kind of suing the wrong company. And so, in our effort to credit everyone who contributed to the mod, we have spooked Disney Legal, and now they have put a new blocker in place. And so basically, they were in contact with two people that created and worked on the mod. They were getting their permission, and probably to them, it probably gives them like this big boost because this mod is infamous. This mod, is the one thing people tell you to download when you get KOTOR 2 on the PC. If you want to play the definitive version of this game, you need a PC or some sort of device that can play Steam games, or like a Steam Deck, or a... Can the Steam Deck play KOTOR 1 and 2? I don't think it can, because I don't think there's controller support for KOTOR 2. I know there isn't one for 1. You can't get this mod on the Xbox version. These games never came out on PlayStation, even when Aspire announced them for the Switch. So the Switch version was going to be the only way you could play them besides your phone. So pretty much, I'm going to go through this. And apparently, late in November 2023, I reported that Aspire's legal reply alluded to how a third party objected to the DLC release killing it. That turned out to be Disney. And there's all these, like this damn court file has all these different information, and one of them being this project called Juliet, which was supposed to be a KOTOR 2 remake that was in development alongside the previous reported remake of KOTOR 1, at least as recently as March. I read through an eyebrow amount of these documents in an attempt to go beyond solving Aspire's third-party mystery. It was Disney/Lucas lawyers who did it. In Aspire and Lucasfilm Games execs say. So, what I found looks like an earnest group of people operating in good faith for years, and not the preceding months, to find a way to make KOTOR 2 to restore content mod easily accessible for non-PC players, whether that effort turned it into false advertising. So, and I guess they settled on the lawsuit, but does it shock me that it's Disney? No. Of course it's not. Of course not. Because of Disney lawyers doing this, I can't verify if someone that has read these court files did. Let me know down below if this article is correct or not. But if that is true, they did unintentionally cause false advertising. And because of that, Aspire's good faith among Star Wars fans declined. And it declined even more with the Battlefront Classic Collection. Everyone knows how good Aspyr is with their ports and their remasters. That Battlefront Classic collection seemed like an outlier. And I think it was because of this lawsuit and what was going on with this situation. And that's why it wasn't to their normal standard. I'm not, I'm not siding with them. I'm not trying to give them an excuse for putting out a broken remaster that they had to fix, and there are still issues with to this day, even though that it's in a very playable state. Even I helped out with reporting some of those bugs as well. There's this one to where the command post, it will not show the color or the faction symbol. The only time you could see the color of it is you would have to look down at the platform that it's on. This is why I've often say that I'm not a Disney fan. And what I mean by that is I'm not a fan of Disney's legal team. I'm not a fan of Disney's way that they handle things. It has nothing to do with how they are politically. I don't give a flying crap what message you put in your movie. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of movies that do that, even back during the 80s and the 70s, and it flew over people's freaking heads. Yeah, nowadays it's new because, well, guess what? There's two different extremes on YouTube. You either got toxic positivity or toxic negativity. Now, which side is going to be complaining constantly about Hollywood and their quote-unquote woke agenda? The toxic negativity side, because they know it makes them money. And who's going to be shilling out every single Star Wars thing, even if it sucks? The toxic positivity people. And then there's me. That's more in the middle. That I can enjoy something, even if I end up not liking it. Because I'm just glad there's more Star Wars. Now, there are certain projects that I think they didn't do well. That it did suck. Like the Book of Boba Fett. It's the Book of Boba Fett, not the Book of Fennec Shand and making Boba Fett this completely different character than what he's known for. I know that in the Clone Wars TV series, they were already starting to change him from being this cold-blooded bounty hunter that we know him as. There was always those glimpses that he actually did give a damn about things. But, in the freaking in Empire and Jedi, he doesn't mind going after Han, Luke, or Leia because it's money. The Acolyte had a lot of potential, and too many people failed. I actually don't mind it. Yes, I do agree that the bulk of the show is weak, but there are some elements of it I do like. Mandalorian Season 3, same thing. Um, it's Star Wars under Disney has been messy. It's been a roller coaster. It started out strong, and then it dipped. Then it peaked, and it dipped. And I think that the issue is that how they're doing things is they are allowing these people to come in and do whatever they want with it instead of sticking to what makes Star Wars Star Wars. And I think that's why, in a lot of ways, I think I do gravitate towards more of the Dave Filoni stuff. Is he perfect? No. Does he like to use Ahsoka a lot? Of course. But that Ahsoka series was really special for me because being an Anakin fan, I felt like I was screwed over by the sequel trilogy because there was no mention of him besides, mentioning Vader or showing his helmet or temporarily hearing his voice in freaking Episode 9 as both Vader and Anakin. So, and keep in mind, he's the chosen one. And to me, he's still the main character of the entire Skywalker saga. And the only Skywalker left is Ben. I know people are going to say Rey. I'm sorry. As much as this is going to sound toxic, I cannot accept Rey as a Skywalker. I know that she's doing it as an honor thing, which is very sweet. I do, like on that paper, I don't mind it, but I don't like it. It's like I don't know. Then again, I'm very harsh on Rey, and it has nothing to do with her gender. It's because I think she's a very weak character, writing wise. And, but anyways, getting back to this, because of this mess, a lot of people just didn't end up trusting Aspire because of Disney. And if this is true, I mean, I definitely complain about them privately because I was unhappy, and I have a right to be unhappy because they gave us they announced them and they took it away, and I'm hoping that they can make this right. I'm hoping Disney allows them to actually do this release because they can always change their mind like that. It's not too late. It's a mod. It doesn't take much convincing to release this mod. Just don't, just don't screw us over again. Like, my God. And to be honest, it also comes into question: was all those reports about the KOTOR remake under Aspire true? Because now with this, I'm starting to question everything around that time. And there's still people crapping on Aspire. And I don't think no one's going to stop even with this. A lot of people paid good money for this Switch port of this game, and people was promised something and they never received it, so they are rightfully angry, and I was one of those. But now knowing the context, I hate the business side of the video game industry and the movie industry because there's a lot of companies that are just so they do stupid crap all the time. Probably the biggest one in the game industry, and I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be wanting my that are going to be disagreeing with me hardcore. There's two of them actually. No, there's three. It's actually the big three. Nintendo makes some weird ass decisions legally. Not allowing fans to be creative with their IPs, despite the fact that they know probably damn well the Sonic Mania was developed by people that was a part of the Sonic fan community. You have Xbox raising their prices and not being able to release games. Then you have Sony. Sony. The arrogant, egotistical, in my opinion, winners of the last console war. All because Xbox fumbled the bag with those false reports, and all they had to do was make a video of how to share a game, and then they won. And then you have the movie industry. Here's the thing, you guys. I was a Disney kid growing up. I love Disney. To be honest, I still enjoy some of their new movies that come out. I do want to see Zootopia 2 because I loved the first one. Because in a lot of ways, it's a modern sequel to Robin Hood. I mean, I mean, even, even the director that worked on the first one, he was, you know, said that in the world of Zootopia, if you go back in time, that's probably would be when Robin Hood took place, which is in my opinion, it's one of the most underrated Disney movies ever. Because it was released right after, during the dark period of Disney movies between Walt Disney's passing and the Disney Renaissance of the late 80s and 90s. I still enjoy Disney. I play Kingdom Hearts. I enjoy it. But what I don't like is how they are business wise. I don't like modern Disney with how they do shit. It has nothing to do with how they're pushing politics sometimes. I don't give a flying F about that. I'm not here to kiss the mouse's feet so I can get perks, unlike some certain other Star Wars YouTubers I know of. And I'm not here to be overly hateful, unlike some Star Wars YouTubers I know of. One of them I'm a huge fan of, but even I can agree he has become the very thing he has sworn to destroy. And ironically enough, I bought one of his sabers, and I do love it, and I plan on buying more. I just hate the fact that he's became this jaded towards Star Wars. But that's his choice, I guess. Well, the good thing is that at least I can play this mod on my PC. It just sucks because it would be nice to lay back and play it on my Switch, but it is what it is. At least now with me having a computer, I can put it on my iPhone. Knowing this, there better be some KOTOR remake news at the freaking Game Awards. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna end this video now before I blow up later, and I will be making that 10-year anniversary video for The Force Awakens.